Everyone good? Far away.
Well,
Not
I
all
guess
at
your
once.
first reaction to that, Nikita, when you saw the ref wave it off.
Spewing. That was the words. I was like, I didn't think it was that bad. Uh, yeah, it's a shame that he, he took the first exit that he could find.
If he said he couldn't see, he would have known what the ref would have done from there.
Yeah, I haven't like fully heard the replays or anything, but I'm being told that the referee said, if you can't see, then we're gonna have to stop this, and he agreed. Yeah. So, I mean, what can you do? What can you do, Michael?
If the cameras do show him saying, and you can hear him saying, I can't see, etc., we've heard him say he wants to fight you in future. If the cameras say that, will you want to fight him? Will you want to put the fight on again?
It's all up to these guys.
Look, I think that's a hard one for me to answer right now. I think it's still very raw.
Yeah.
The build up to this has been fantastic. I thought the work that Nikita and the team and everyone at No Limit has put into creating this huge event. There's a hell of a lot of work went into this. Whenever you put all of that work into it, you want to make sure that you get to see it all the way into fruition. And it'd be too early to answer that. My personal feelings right now is that I feel sorry for Nikita and for the team for all of the work that went into that. Even though there's,
I feel more sorry for you guys. The financial burden of doing that.
I mean, that's the risk of putting on an event though, is that you run that risk every time, and that's why it's scary to know that you might not get your main event go ahead. So it's one thing that we've got to be really careful of. But like I said, I'm sorry for them. It looks like he only had to do 6 minutes of work tonight, but it's not. There's 3 months that have gone into that.
6 months.
6 months that have gone into that. That's hard work. That's a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of work's gone into that for him to not get the opportunity to be the best Nikita Tszyu tonight, because a win for him tonight would have meant a lot of things, a lot of opportunities. So I do feel for you and the team for all the work that you've done leading into this. And I said it in the ring after the fight, but I feel for all the fans who turned up for this fight, who were invested in this grudge match, in this bout, and wanted to see how it would play out. The people who turned up out here in Brisbane, at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, the people who watched on Main Event KO, who were packed out pubs all across the country. I feel for them as well, because everybody wanted to see an outcome, and we didn't get to see that tonight.
It was like my first Friday night show as well.
Yeah.
I was off the Wednesday cards.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Okay, what are your emotions right now? Is it anger? Is it sadness?
I'm
disappointment?
actually quite numb at the moment. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's funny. I was just having the thought. My brother and I have something in common now. Kind of fucked it for both of us. At least I got 2 rounds out of it, so I got that one up on Tim.
Nikita, do you think he quit?
I definitely do. I think that he underestimated me, and he saw once the cut happened. I think there was like a bit of PTSD coming through. His emotions got the better of him. Started to panic and didn't. Yeah, it's some of the stuff that Paulie Malignaggi was criticizing him over, that he doesn't have the heart, or he's just
Checked out.
yeah, it's checked out. And once that little bit of pain comes in, was looking for the exit straight away.
You spoke in the build-up about how you still think he's suffering ongoing trauma from that Quillen KO that he never got over being stretched out of the ring. Do you think that was on a case again tonight of that ongoing trauma?
I wouldn't say it's directly from that fight, but every fight has had some sort of impact on him. I think the big one was Lara as well, because he just was just flatlined in like 2 rounds as well, and he just looked shit in that situation, and That's a hard one to live up from.
Glenn, you were there in Vegas with Tim when he carried on with the cut. Do you think he quit?
Very hard to quantify the cut that Tim had, which was an axe wound. And when the doctor asked him at the end of every round, can you see, the response was automatic, yes. Even under that,
Even
those
then,
conditions.
Tim was meant to be saying, I can't see in those
couldn't see
situations.
for shit, but he was going to say yes regardless. And to see that tonight is just very hollow. It's a very hollow feeling now. The opportunity for Nikita to put an end to the Tszyu Zerafa legacy has slipped through our fingers again, and you do have to question: do we have the resolve to go through all this again, knowing that it could happen again?
Maybe the Tszyu Zerafa is always going to be a question mark.
It could be, but as I just want to reiterate what George said, it's gut wrenching for an event of this magnitude, and in Australian boxing we get very few at this level, and just walk out of that ring there tonight just not wanting to acknowledge anything. It was just like so flat. We all feel that way. So in terms of what happens from here, I know I've already been asked, would we accept a rematch? It's not just for us as a team. We are a big family with no limits, and we'll discuss the implications for them, the implications for us. And at the end of the day, does Nikita Tszyu want to go through that again on a risk that could happen again?
I was honestly shitting myself that he's not going to rock up to the fight because he came late to the arena.
Yeah.
I was thinking, fuck, don't do this, man.
George, just to make your stance clear, is tonight, was tonight ruined by Zerafa and you don't want to deal with him again, or is it too early to say? Do you have to address the facts first? Do you have to do some more digging?
I think the way you worded your question just then was very passionate, and I'm a passionate person. I was biting my tongue at the end of the fight because I'm passionate about what we do. I love what we do. I love that we get to put on these fights for Australian fight fans, that we get to do. We've got 10,000 people here at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. We've got hundreds of thousands of people watching across the country. I love this shit. I love doing what we do, and we invest a lot of time, we invest a lot of money, we invest a lot of effort into doing what we do. And every time we do it, it's a risk every time we put on a show. But we choose to do this because we love it. We're passionate about boxing. We're passionate about what we can do for Australian boxing. And it is too early for me to answer how we progress forward in the Tszyu Zerafa space. But I think everything that happened tonight up until that point, it was a fantastic night. I loved it. I've loved everything leading up to that moment before the fight. Loved the walkouts, and I thought Nikita was fighting beautifully in that fight. And I would have loved to see an outcome. I would have loved to see an outcome. I know so many people are pissed off, so many people are disappointed walking through the crowd. People were sharing the same feeling that I felt, and I was pissed off at first, and I just wanted to bite my tongue and not say anything that I'd regret. And I don't question any man who steps in the ring, any person who steps in the ring, because I'm not a fighter myself, and I think the way that people feel about his actions tonight, I think that's up to a fighter to speak on it themselves, because they step in and they do it. And I think Tim and Nikita had some really strong words to say about it tonight. For me, I respect any person who steps into the ring and runs a risk of doing what they do. But I am disappointed with how the night ended, because this has been a great few months leading up to this point.
Nikita, Tim called Zerafa a bitch. Any response to that?
Was expected.
Bitch times 2.
George, you've had tonight, it was Newcastle 21. He had his brother punch a trainer on TV. At some point, it's just surely not worth it to keep putting him on, right?
What is it in the US? It's 3 strikes and it's life. Is it?
Yeah, in California, 3 stripes in your
Look, I honestly don't know. I don't want to answer that question just yet. It's too early. It's too fresh. Because I know, again, you rewind Go back an hour ago, and think about how everyone was feeling up until that point. The excitement, the buzz that there was about the Zerafa opportunity. It's been a great period up until an hour ago. So I don't think I could speak on what will happen going forward just yet. It's something that, again, we'd have to discuss.
Yeah.
We'd have to get over our little moment tonight.
Mm.
We're going to get
It
over this.
deserved an outcome so
We need to
much
eat a
better
kebab
than
first.
We
this.
need to eat a kebab,
I
have
think-
a beer.
It's pretty hard to sit here and pretend it's not, so gut-wrenching, because it deserves so much more. Where else are we going to get a 5-year build-up to a fight and a hatred between two families and two brothers involved, and the Zerafa brothers and their history, and all of these things came together in a perfect building at a perfect night in front of the perfect audience, and someone chose to just stop it.
Nikita, how do you feel the fight was going up until that cut?
I was literally just getting a groove. I was still figuring him out. We were, yeah, he was also still kind of figuring me out. We were still in the early stages of the fight, so
It was a head clash, eh?
it was head clash.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even get to kind of fully get into it yet.
Do you want to combat soon, or want to take a break after this? Like how
I want to build a sofa in my backyard. That's number one. So I needed 2 weeks for that. And then we'll
Take the dogs for a run.
And then I'll be training. Yeah.
You've been a southpaw and him an orthodox fighter. Is it fair to say that going into this fight, you probably should have anticipated a clash of heads from time to time and been prepared for it?
Yeah.
That could happen again in the first round of the next fight. The nature of the Southie versus the
It's
Orthodox.
our two styles or two stances, they get head clashes all the time. Part of the business. That's why I shave my head, so it's easier to get to the cut if there is.
George, have you had any feedback from main event tonight so far? Specifically about how the main event finished?
No, not since the end of the bout. Leading up to it, everything was tracking really well. So it's been, again, everything's been so great for this event leading up to it, and yeah, it's a bummer.
That was one of the nicest arenas as well.
It was cool.
This was the
Hey.
maddest atmosphere.
And the atmosphere and the
Yeah.
crowd and everything was just in perfect sync for what was going to be Australia's biggest. I mean, if you rewind an hour and it had gone the distance and Nikita had his hand raised, we'd all be in here saying, what a night.
How
Here we are
close.
all sitting here depressed because our night got taken from us. That's what it feels like, doesn't it? Sort of got taken away from us.
It'll be hard to sell this fight again, right? To
I agree.
punchers. Like, good luck.
That's what
I
I was
agree.
thinking.
You know, like
I think you did
they've
right.
now been fooled twice.
I think you're dead right. And there's always that risk that
Something else can happen.
that same thing could happen, or wherever Michael goes, there's drama. And do you have the energy and the ability to turn that into a commercial again that can work for everybody? I don't know. I feel bad for these blokes. They're going to stump up for these fights. When you get the opportunity to have a legacy fight and it falls like that, it's like, what can you do? It's like, it's just completely taken out of our hands, and the reality will hit us in the next few days, and we'll get together next week in Sydney and thrash out. But there's part of me right now that feels just like saying, you know what, we're done. We're moving on, because
He's cursed.
it could
He's
be
cursed,
that
this
it's just cursed. Who knows? That's just me tonight. It'll be better tomorrow for sure. We're all a bit gutted.
We need a kebab.
We need a kebab and yeah.
George, inevitably, the punters are going to be saying we deserve refunds. I think that's
Shit, how could you ask for a refund on that show tonight? Give me a break.
No.
Yeah, look, I probably couldn't comment on that right now either. We did have 5.5 hours of great fights up until that point. From the start, the prelims, we had some kids on professional debut that got in there and
Crack on each
absolutely went for
Yeah,
it.
that was a good
And
fight.
they, and
I
they
watched
said,
it.
yeah, it was a great fight. They got in there and had a red hot crack, and I think
heavies.
every other fight was great. Nelson, a great debut.
The heavies were
The
great.
heavies got in there and they threw. You got 10 rounds of heavyweight. There was a It was a great night up until then, and
Dempsey got
I
a
understand
KO,
what you're
didn't
saying. Yeah.
Billy
So he got
Popcorn
the
was
stop.
punching a piece of granite.
Yeah, so it
Couldn't
was.
stop the kid.
I get what you're saying, but I do. I apologise to everybody who was left feeling that little bit empty, because I feel just the same. And when I put on an event, I say it every time, is that I want it to be something that I enjoy. And then when we put together these fights, these matchups, I want it to be a fight I want to see. All of that, and I'm feeling just as dejected as all of the fans were who watched and tuned in and turned up tonight. So, yeah, we'll see where we go from here afterwards.
Is there any chance Michael Zerafa doesn't get his full purse out of this? If it's found that he said what that he couldn't see, and then he said he could see.
We always live up to our contractual obligations, so we'll do the right thing regardless of we do what the contract says.
Thanks, guys.